Elle achète de la mangue et puis elle va au marché. These are two sentences in present tense. Okay, elle achète de la mangue. She's buying mango. She buys mango. It might be something she does every day. Okay, she buys mango or she's buying. It can be present continuous. Elle achète. Now, the same thing here. Elle va au marché. She's going to the market. Elle va au marché. She's going to the market or she goes to the market. So it depends. Now, how do I replicate these two sentences in past tense? Now, the first one, I will put the past tense under. The first thing to give us, elle a acheté de la mangue. Elle a acheté de la mangue. And the second one is, elle est allée, elle est allée au marché. Elle est allée au marché. Now this is the second one. Now let me put the past tense. Now it's good for those who understand, but for those who don't understand, the question is, how did we get here? How did we turn from elle achète de la mangue to elle a acheté de la mangue? How did we get from elle va au marché to elle est allée au marché? She went to the market. How? Now, the past tense in French, the common one. So when you say past tense, there are many past tenses in French language, but there is a common one that we use to express the past in a day-to-day French language, and that's le passé composé. Le passé composé. So that's the one we are treating here, because we have le plus que parfait, we have le passé antérieur, all those ones, they are also past tenses. We have l'imparfait, they are also past tenses. But basically, at this level, you need to just know at least how to use le passé composé. Okay. And in class, when I was teaching this topic, I gave you a common, a kind of formula, though we were not in, it wasn't a science class, but somehow we needed to do something like that. And I called passé composé PC, okay, which I said passé composé is equals to subject plus, now we have plus, now this is a shortcut of auxiliary, that's auxiliary, okay, plus auxiliary. Now the auxiliary could be avoir, avoir or être, which is in simple present, in simple present, okay, plus the past participle, so I call it PP, of the main verb. Now, all this abracadabra, let's see what it really looks like in reality, because that's the most important thing. What does it look like? Now, so we have subjects. Every sentence has a subject, except if it is an order. When you are giving someone an order, we don't put subject, like say go, come. The same thing happens in French. Allez, like venez, all those kind of things. But on a normal sentence, if except if you are speaking Spanish, whereby the subject is not always needed like that. But in French, you really need to make a full sentence, subject, verb, and then object. Okay. So here there is now where the question is, when do I use avoir and when do I use être? And then what is called past participle of a verb in French? How do I know the past participle of a verb? Okay, in French language, those are the two things you need to raise here. And I said that day that basically 95% of verbs in French takes avoir. 95% of verbs in French takes avoir. Then we have some 17 or maybe now up to 19, I don't know, but some 17 verbs that takes être. Okay, there are 17 in number. They take être. Apart from them, let me put the 17th. We call them, they might be state or motion verb. They might be motion slash state verbs. Okay. And then apart from them, we have reflexive verbs in French. Reflexive verbs. And I told you reflexive verbs are those verbs we've treated them before. That takes maybe example is se laver. All those verbs are carry se. Se laver, se promener, and so on. Now the 17 motion or state verbs, well, let me put some of them. Like you have aller, you have tomber, you have rester, you have venir, you have devenir, you have mourir, you have naître, we have passé, okay, we have monter. Um, they are many. Those are just examples from them. Okay, so apart from these verbs, okay, and also they think we have the auxiliaries themselves. But apart from this, every other verb in French use avoir. Okay, they use avoir. These ones use être. So now let's get back to our examples. Elle achète de la mangue becomes elle a acheté de la mangue. So if you look here, except if you have also, you will see now you've forgotten how to use avoir in simple present. It's first verbs you learn in French. J'ai, tu as, il, il ou elle a, nous avons, vous avez, il ou elles ont. Okay, this is it. J'ai, tu as, il ou elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ou elles ont. And then you look at être, which gives you je suis, tu es, il ou elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils ou elles sont. Okay? Ils ou elles sont. Now, these ones, you must not forget them because you are going to use in your past tense. The two verbs are really going to be reoccurring. That's what you're going to use. Okay? Avoir and être. Now, if you look at the first sentence, you see it here. Elle a. Okay? Elle a. Now, if you look at the second one, you also see LA. So LA is from avoir. We have it here. LA is from être. We have it here. So that's what I explained here. That the auxiliary might be avoir or être, but it also depends on the verb you are using. Now here, the main verb here, elle achète, the verb is verb acheter. Acheter, verb acheter, to buy. While in this sentence, elle va au marché, the verb here is verb aller, which is to go. Okay, which is to go. So that's that. So now, how do we get to acheter and aller? Now let me say this be generally, like all first group verbs, first group verbs, they end with er. That's what you have here, acheter or aller. But we were told that aller is not a first group verb. Okay, it is the only one in the family of verbs that ends with er and does not belong to the first group because of the way it is conjugated. It's quite different. It's not something I need to go on today. Like, it's the basics of understanding that we've treated. Acheter, aller. But in this context of past tense, all verbs that ends with er. Okay, to get, please mute your mic. To get their past participle, the er just becomes this e with accent. Okay, so acheter, the past participle of acheter is acheter. It's still pronounced as acheter, but it has the accent aigu, acheter. So the same thing with aller. Okay, the same thing with aller. So that's why we have elle a acheté de la mangue. She bought mango. Please mute your mic. Elle a acheté de la mangue. So that is how passé composé works. Now, in case if you notice that the verb you are going to use is one of those verbs that requests that you use auxiliary être, you also use it, être. Okay, and I said aller, the past participle of aller is also aller, is aller like this. Okay, is aller. uh Only where there is difference here is that when you use auxiliary être, when you apply auxiliary être, if you notice that auxiliary être is the one that you use for the verb, then you must make an agreement between the subject, le sujet, et le participe passé. The subject and the past participle must agree. What does that mean? It means that if the subject is feminine, then the past participle should also be feminine by adding e. But it cannot happen to this one because this verb uses auxiliary avoir. But once you notice that the verb is using auxiliary être, then you must think of agreement between the past participle and the subject. Okay, though it is pronounced aller, the e doesn't change anything. So now here it is not because you say Ella Ashite that I will put E. No, because avoir will not allow that to happen. With avoir, you don't do that. But with être, yes, it is acceptable. You can have agreement here. Donc, elle est allée au marché. Elle est allée au marché. Donc, voilà un peu comment ça se passe. Comment vous pouvez conjuguer votre verbe au passé composé. Let's see one or two examples again. Okay. Now let's say maybe uh, you say nous. Okay, let me give you this one. Devenir des amis. Now let's look at this. Nous devenir des amis. That's the sentence. Okay, you are asked now to put this sentence in passé composé, in past tense. D'accord? Mettez le verbe au passé composé. It'll be something like that. Devenir means to become. Devenir means to become. Okay? And it is one of those verbs. It is one of those verbs that use être because it's a state verb. Devenir, to become. Okay? In the state of becoming. Not really an action that someone can even see. So, by then, we know that we are going to use être. Then let's see what our sentence is going to give us. Nous. Now, if you are going to use être, we need to use the auxiliary from être. So with nous, we have some. We have some. Okay, some. So certainly here is going to be nous sommes. And then the next thing will now be, what is the past participle of devenir? Okay, of devenir. So the past participle of devenir is devenu. That's the past participle. Devenu. Okay, devenu. That's the past participle. Okay, nous sommes devenus des amis. Now, the question is it over? Is that where it should stop? I don't think so. Why? First thing is that we have nous, which is plural. Okay, which is plural. So this is telling us that there must be an agreement between our past participle, okay, uh, our past participle and then the subject. If you see on my system, because my system is programmed in French, the devenir is underlined already, which means there is something missing. Okay, but if you don't have it, you might not understand what it means to be underlined. Now with nous, it requires an X. That's the first thing. Nous sommes des amis. So you can see the underline is gone. But still, there's still a problem. Now, this nous, it depends on who are the people saying nous, we. If they are all masculine, good, you only keep the X. If they are both masculine and feminine mixed together, you can still keep the S. But if they are the people saying nous are all female or feminine, okay? If the subject there is totally feminine, then there must be an E before that S. Already here, you should know that this nous is totally feminine because they say we became friends. Nous sommes devenus des amis. We became friends. And the friend here is carrying E, which means the friends here, they are all female. Okay, friends. If we were to be masculine friends, you will only see X, S. But here there is E before the S. So he's already telling us that the friends we are talking about here are all feminine. And that can guide us to know that this subject here, the people that are saying we became friends, are all girls. So there is a need for an E here. So which will be our agreement. So what is the agreement here? E, because the subject is feminine. S, because the subject is plural. Okay, so those are the reasons for this agreement. But the pronunciation never changed. Nous sommes devenus. Nous sommes devenus. Whether there is E, there is X, devenu is devenu. It did not change. All right? It did not change. So you can make sentences on your own. Je mange du riz. I'm eating rice. Je mange du riz. The past participle will be j'ai mangé, j'ai mangé du riz. I ate rice. How did we get here? Je mange. It's from verb manger. Verb manger is not one of the 17 verbs, so it's not a state verb. It's one of the general verbs. So certainly we are going to use auxiliaire avoir. Donc on va employer l'auxiliaire avoir, which gives us j'ai. And it's a verb that ends with er. So the past participle will just have carry this e accent aigu. J'ai mangé. So that's how you have j'ai mangé du riz. And then we have our past tense. Now, let's look at, to end this, let's look at the issue on past participle, how we can get them. Okay, the endings. Let me say the ending of past participle. Okay, yeah, of verbs. Yeah, good. Now first I pick verb from er and I say they becomes a accent aigu, like this. Now we have verbs from ir. Okay, those ones are I. Maybe let's pick some examples under. Okay, parler. Parler will be parler with a accent aigu. Parler, parler. Good. Now ir. Let's take verb like finir. Okay, and then we have fini, and that is that. But cases of verbs like some other verbs that ends with ir, verbs that ends with ir, but the past participle ends with u. Example, we've taken one, devenir, or let me just take venir, because from venir, that's when we have devenir. Venir, the past participle is venu. So this is to come. This is came. Came with the auxiliary. Venir. Okay, here I forgot to put dormir, to sleep. Dormir. So which will also give you dormi. Okay. Now we have verbs that ends with re, and their past participle is like is. Verbs like prendre, they end with re, prendre, and the past participle is pre. Okay, pre. And then we have some special cases like mourir, verb mourir. Now mourir here ends with ir. Okay, or let me place it under ir differences. Those ones are different. It's still ir, but it is so special. Let me put ort. Now something like the verb is mourir, to die. The past participle of mourir is more. Okay, is more. Now we also have under re that will give you ait. You have verbs like faire, to do. The past participle is fait. So if I say I do, je fais, it's not I do in at the wedding. No, I do my assignment. Je fais mes devoirs. J'ai fait. Past participle give me j'ai fait. So it's a different thing entirely. So these endings will help you to really know how to get your past participle. Once you get the verb and you look at the verb, the ending, you should be able to know what past participle you are going to use. Okay. So there's another verb that is also special, naître, to be born. The past participle is né. You just like first group verbs, né. Okay, né. So it's also a special case. So this is what can also guide you while you are conjugating your verbs or you are learning the past participle, knowing which auxiliary to use, and then knowing the past participle, what the ending will look like of the past participle will look like. Okay, it's very, very important, okay, to do. So je vais that's the explanation. Now I'm going to take questions on this, on what you don't um understand about that. So you are going to feel free now, even if this topic is what I explained today and then you understand better. So that's going to be very, very